Hey strong people, let's talk about strong things. Today's strong things are, I want to talk about why I did super squats or 20 rep squats and what I got out of it, and if it would be a good use of your time. First off, a little background. I tore my bicep at a contest at Untamed Strength Gym. Pretty sure probably all subscribe to that YouTube channel because Alan actually edits and produces his videos and puts concise thought together instead of me just rambling. On an axle cleans on December 13th, I think I had surgery. So I bought a safety squat bar. I didn't tell my wife until until right before they put me under to get surgery, because Elite Fitness had a flash sale. It was $100 off. That means it's like destiny. I was meant to tear my bicep and buy something I wasn't supposed to or didn't have the budget for, right? Anyways, so when you tear your bicep, pretty much that's why every strongman or a strength athlete has bought a safety squat bar in the past, is because they did tear their bicep. And basically a safety squat bar has a camber to it, but most of all it has these nice pads and handles in the front, so you can kind of hold it. You can do it with no hands. You can do it with just one hand in the sling. So I was pretty limited on what I could do after surgery, and I wanted to work up slowly and have some sort of goal, because really with my training I haven't had any sort of goal for a while. So what did it matter how I was was 20 rep squats the ultimate, like, oh, this is what's gonna do everything? No, it's just, here's a way that it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck from 100 pounds on up. Every time I make a 5 or 10 pound jump, it's gonna suck, and I can keep, it's more, so it's more and more of a challenge, and I could keep doing it, and I could do it with some sort of frequency, and you don't really think about all the other stuff you can't do. Like deadlift, I see a lot of people, they get an injury and they start to try to figure out some contraption or something on how they can still set up this specific event. It's like, I've been deadlifting for what, 30, close to 15 years now. Whatever strength I've had, if I take a 6-month break, I'm pretty sure I can get back to knowing how to deadlift again. And having any sort of other thought than that is just basic insecurity. But if I squat, and I squat a lot of weight, and or a lot of repetitions, I'm doing enough volume to facilitate growth and strength, then I'm gonna get stronger. It doesn't have to be the exact same movement. I'm not peaking for a contest anytime soon. I wasn't preparing to try to come back so I can go to national, so specificity doesn't matter. I just have to find the couple things I can do to keep strength up while I do it. And what's better than squatting? And 20 rep squats, it helped me kind of get my conditioning back up. It helped me not just my muscle strength, but muscle endurance, and just getting that mindset right as well, and that's the main reason why I did it. I stopped at 285, so I owe someone a shirt somewhere, so let me know. Send me a screenshot of you saying it was gonna be 285, and I'll send you a shirt. And the reason I stopped is because with any sort of high frequency, I did it for about 3 months, just squatting every 3 days or so on average, probably 3-4 days, probably about every 3 days on average. So that's a lot of squatting for 20 reps, and I was doing other stuff as well, not much, but other mainly leg accessories, not too much upper body of any note, at least. And I worked up from the bar, which is like 65 or 75 pounds, up to 285. I think I did like 16 total sessions. I don't really remember. Maybe it was 2 months. That's not the point. The point was that the problem with doing any sort of program where you're doing the same thing over and over and over is you tend to get overuse injuries, and my right hip started to kill me. And I started working around it, and I was like, well, this is dumb. This is a way to build up my strength well, I can only focus on like one thing, so only focus on that. So as soon as it started to like start to beat my body down too much, it was time to change it up. And by that time, thankfully, my body was healed up, biceps feeling better. I feel like I really built up a lot of strength from the safety squat bar in my back, especially my quads. Legs grew a ton, ass got bigger, gut got bigger, whatever. Not really. It's probably about the same. Just the same level of fat, probably not any fatter, because it's just gonna happen. And for me, like high rep, high frequency squatting is all I did. It's called Super Squats. You can buy the book on Amazon, amazon.startingstrongman.com. It's an old book, it's sold by Iron Mind, but again, it's on Amazon. And I did that routine. It was one of the first routines I followed, probably in like 2006, 7, and I think I worked up to probably about the same weight, really. And I feel like it put a lot of size on my legs, and built a good base. Like the squat kind of, for just doing one movement, it's going to build a lot of muscle, except biceps. I don't have those anymore, especially one of them. And that's why I chose to do that. And it's mainly just a way is you need some sort of goal and some sort of progression to keep things interesting. And the detriment to it is I tried to make it into a thing, and I'm like, when will I fail? And and like people like, oh, I think you could work up to 400, and I'm like, I think I do too. I could, if I might get back and throw some in there again soon, but it was starting to, that long. I don't think you should run it for more than like 12 weeks. I think I did 16. It was really just starting to beat my body up again, or 12 total sessions, I think, where so it's accomplishing the exact opposite of like, okay, here's what I can do safely coming off an injury. Oh, so let's fuck my hip up. That makes a lot of sense. So I put the pride in like wanting to do more and more weight aside, and moved on to doing actual lifts. And I hit a 500-pound deadlift. I hit a 400-pound squat. Both of those lifts are easily the best, not just weight, but movement and no pain afterwards lifts I've done since injuring my back at the Arnold in 2014. And you can hear my big dog drinking water below me. So it definitely accomplished the goal. I feel like I got in a pretty good amount of shape. It gave me something to do for the time instead of just wallow around and think about all the things I can't do after surgery. So yeah, I recommend it if you're in a similar boat. I feel like having done it before in the past with a straight bar and then using the safety squat bar, I highly recommend to use the safety squat bar, just because it's not going to beat your shoulders up as much, because you're not getting in that bound position on your back. Doing that high frequency of squatting just would really mess me up, especially if you actually have two arms and are able to do some level of pressing. I wouldn't do it if you're preparing for any sort of competition. This is something you do in the off season for fun. I wouldn't do it if you have any sort of problems hitting depth or mobility issues that limit your squat. Only do a 20 rep squat progression if your form is sound, because if you keep doing a repetitive movement with shitty movement and technique, it's only going to make things worse. I wouldn't do it if you're also planning on deadlifting heavy and like clean and pressing heavy, etc. If you pick up the book, it limits the other exercises pretty drastically that you can do. I'll try to put a link in the bio to it, but I'll probably forget. And the better way for most people to kind of incorporate that is to just, like, I'd say every 2-3 weeks, do a drop set of 20 and slowly bump that up by 10 pounds, but start at least 50% of your squat. And just do that every 2 to 3 weeks. Don't do it like every day, unless you just want some sort of challenge to put on some, if you're lacking lower body size, or you just want big ass legs, something to do if you have a good off season to devote to that, but definitely not combined with training in any sort of events, etc. Because a specialization program is meant to specialize. You can't specialize that. You can't just like, okay, I'm already doing this good level of volume for all these lifts. Now I'm just gonna throw all this volume on top of it. that results in failure and probably injury to not only your body but also your ego.